All right, guys, we have another hypocrite Democrat that has been exposed once again. This time from the squad. And guys, you're going to learn, okay, that all these politicians are frauds, right? Especially the progressives, okay? The further left you get, the more fraudulent you likely are, okay? That's just kind of how it goes, okay? You're more fraudulent, right? Just like Cory Bush. Straight up telling people, hey, I need the police to protect myself because my life is important. But my constituents that live in the city, right, that I'm from, that, experiencing gang violence, murders, stealing, crime, all this, nah, they don't need the police. They don't need the police. But I need the police, right? AOC talks about the evils of capitalism. The evils of capitalism, right? But she's out here with a tax the rich sweatshirt costing $50, right? $50. AOC store. Flat out capitalist. Flat out making that money. She done went and bought herself a Tesla, right? A Tesla. Didn't buy a Prius, right? Didn't buy one of them other not as nice fuel efficient / green cars, right? She bought a Tesla, okay? Now we have Ayanna Pressley, who's been a cancel the rent advocate, now is disclosing thousands of dollars in rental income. Again, while at the same time she's saying cancel rent, she's making thousands of dollars in rental income. I wonder if she canceled her own rental payments, right? I wonder if she let her tenants off the hook because of the pandemic, right? The same way she's been advocating for other landlords and for tenants to not pay rent, right? That's essentially what she's advocating for. So let's read here and see. Massachusetts Representative Ayanna Pressley's financial disclosure shows she and her husband made thousands of dollars in rental income last year. Pressley has been one of the most prominent advocates for canceling rent during the COVID-19 pandemic. Quote, we must cancel rent, extend eviction and foreclosure moratoriums, provide rental assistance, and offer legal representation for those at risk of eviction. Pressley, a member of a far-left squad, wrote in December 2020 tweet. She introduced a bill in March 2021 that, if passed, would have canceled rent and mortgage payments nationwide. Quote, with the economic impact of this pandemic worsening and the threat of eviction and homelessness looming large for families nationwide, we must take every possible measure to keep families safely housed, forgive all rental debt, and ensure that the credit scores of hard-hit families are not forever tarnished, Pressley said at the time. The bill would have required the federal government to reimburse landlords for any rent not paid during the pandemic. Oh, hold on now. That's key. Because she drafted a bill basically saying, hey, landlords should not be able to evict people, right? And that we're going to wipe away any type of rental debt and ensure their credit scores aren't hit, right? A lot of these people home are just taking advantage of the system. But she also put a provision in there because she's a landlord. Landlords got to get paid too, right? So essentially what she's advocating for is the government to take care of everybody, right? She's not advocating for people to get a job, for people to take care of their responsibilities. She's advocating for a handout from the government, right? So she's basically advocating for the government to essentially pay her just in case her tenants decide that, hey, we don't want to pay rent anymore. We're going to take your advice and not pay rent. You see how this goes, guys? Regardless of whether or not she canceled rent for her tenants, she encouraged other people not to pay rent by saying cancel rent. By putting pressure on the Biden administration to illegally extend this eviction moratorium, she essentially screwed over other landlords. All landlords are not in her situations where the tenant decides that they want to actually pay rent, right? They're not all in that situation. She happens to be blessed with a situation like that with, hey, she's still collecting her income. Her tenants are doing the right thing. But at the same time, she's telling other tenants not to pay rent. I wonder would she be cool if her tenants just stopped paying rent? Obviously not, because she didn't cancel their rent, right? Isn't everybody supposed to be struggling during the pandemic, like she said, right? Everybody should cancel rent. She didn't say, let's cancel rent for those who are struggling to pay. No, she just said cancel rent. So why did you not cancel your own rental payments? Give your tenants a break, right? Give them a break. Help them out. No. She didn't do that. She still collected that money like a good capitalist would, right? A good capitalist would do that. Same thing like AOC, who's a good capitalist, would, charge $50 for a sweatshirt, right? See, all these so-called socialists, right? They love preaching socialism, but they use capitalism to make money off of them preaching socialism. That's how this works. Because it's not like, she's going out here encouraging any of her followers to become capitalists like she is, right? Hey, go out there and buy some rental property. Invest in something, I make a few $1,000s a year from this, right? More than that, because this disclosure of $5,000 to $15,000, that's probably just the operating income. That doesn't even count how much is being paid towards the mortgage that she's not paying. That's all equity. That goes into equity in the property, in which she could essentially cash in on that equity in multiple ways. So she's getting paid, right? Dividends, getting paid dividends. While at the same time saying, hey guys, don't pay y'all landlords. Don't fulfill your financial obligations. Pressley's 2020 financial disclosure filed on Friday disclosed between $5,000 and $15,000 in rental income from her Boston property in her husband's name. The property was converted into a multifamily property after it was purchased, according to Pressley's disclosure. Pressley's office did not immediately return Fox News' request for comment on whether she and her husband canceled rent for the tenants at any point in 2020. She disclosed the same range of rental income between $5,000 and $15,000 in 2020 as she did in 2019 before the pandemic began. Ding, 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 ding. So before the pandemic, she made the same amount as she did when the pandemic actually began, right? So, of course, she has not canceled any rent, right? Of course she's not. She's going to get her paper. Pressley has been a vocal advocate for extending the eviction moratorium, which the Biden administration extended earlier this month, leaving many landlords underwater. Yeah. So again, guys, this is another example of the hypocrisy from the far left Democrats in the squad. And again, I don't know how many times stories like this have to come out about the hypocrisy of the Democrats, especially those on the far left, for people to realize that they're just a bunch of scam artists. They're scam artists. They don't believe the things they actually say. They run around here acting like they're hardcore socialists, but they got investments, right? They invested heavily, right? They got private security. They got stores with expensive clothes, right? Owning businesses. And these are things that a lot of these people didn't even have before they got in the office. Look at AOC. Before she was in office, she was a bartender. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being a bartender, but she wasn't a capitalist. Now, all of a sudden, she gets in office. Her little measly $174,000 a year, that's not enough, right? That's not enough. Now she get in office, she becomes a capitalist, right? While preaching socialism. So, hey, if people want to keep following these people and keep voting for these people, despite the fact that they don't live the same lives that they try to push on other people, it is what it is. But again, don't be surprised when you end up getting hurt and screwed over while they end up benefiting from it. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.